put challenges in front of yourself. When you put a challenge in front of yourself and you attack it, that's when you find inspiration.
The human body is so much more capable than what we think. The cold is the great
I was
teacher.
my couch saying, who at 297, who can't fucking swim that great, who's scared of the fucking water, would have the fucking balls. They have the balls to...
Embrace the cold. Makes you really strong. Bye!
Picture this moment. You are in the middle of a grueling workout, or perhaps you're buried under a project that feels like it's never going to end. Your lungs are burning as if you're inhaling liquid fire. Your legs feel like they've been cast in heavy lead. There's a cold sweat trickling down your spine, and suddenly it happens. That small, persistent voice in the back of your head, the one that always shows up when things get ugly, starts to whisper. It tells you that you've done enough. It tells you that you've given everything. It convinces you that if you go for one more minute, one more rep, one more mile, something inside you is going to snap. It convinces you that you have hit your absolute final limit. But here is the truth that is going to change your life forever. That voice is a professional liar. What you are feeling right now isn't the end of your capacity. It's merely the beginning of your true strength. Welcome to the 40% rule. Today, we aren't talking about athletes who were born with blessed genetics or Hollywood's superheroes. We are talking about real people. Ordinary, even mediocre individuals who discovered that the human body isn't a machine with a fixed limit, but an adaptive system that can be hacked through voluntary suffering. To understand why you feel so tired so early, we have to look inside your skull. The human brain has one primary function: survival. It doesn't care if you want to win a marathon, and it certainly doesn't care if you want six-pack abs. Your brain only cares that you don't die. Because of this, it has developed what scientists call the central governor. Think of it like the speed limiter on a rental car. The engine might be capable of hitting 150 miles per hour, but the software cuts the power at 80 to protect the vehicle from wear and tear. Your brain does exactly the same thing. When you start to feel pain, fatigue, or a desperate shortness of breath, it's not because your muscles have actually run out of energy. It's because your brain is scared. It is sending out panic signals to force you to stop long before you are anywhere near actual physical danger. The 40% rule, popularized by the legendary David Goggins, suggests that when your mind tells you that you are finished, you have actually only used about 40% of what you are truly capable of. That other 60%, it's still there, locked behind a wall of fear and comfort. To access it, you don't need better supplements or more expensive shoes. You need to learn how to ignore the central governor. You need to learn how to negotiate with the pain. Let's look at the men who have mastered this dark art. David Goggins wasn't born the toughest man on earth. At 24 years old, he weighed nearly 300 pounds. He worked as an exterminator, spraying cockroach poison in fast food restaurants at night while eating donuts to cope with his depression. He was the poster child for someone living at 10% of their capacity. Then, one day, he saw a documentary on Navy SEALs, and something clicked. It wasn't his body that changed first. It was his decision to stop listening to his inner voice. Goggins realized that to be free, he had to become his own dictator. He started running, not to lose weight, but to silence the voice that told him he was a loser. Every time his mind said stop, he took another step. That is callousing the mind. Then we have Rich Roll. At age 40, Rich was a successful corporate attorney with a great career, but disastrous health. Walking up the stairs to his bedroom left him gasping for air, leaning against the wall, fearing a heart attack. He He wasn't an elite athlete. He was a middle-aged man who had surrendered to comfort and alcoholism. But Rich decided to experiment with his limits. He radically changed his fuel to a plant-based diet and started swimming and running. He wasn't looking for a medal, he was looking for his identity. Just a few years later, he was completing the Epic 5 Ironman distance triathlons on 5 different Hawaiian islands in under a week. He went from being unable to climb stairs to being one of the fittest humans on the planet. His secret? Radical consistency and a deep curiosity about what the body can process when given the right fuel. And we cannot forget Wim Hof, the Iceman. Wim isn't a Marvel superhero. He is a man who suffered the tragic loss of his wife and found in extreme cold a way to silence emotional trauma. By submerging himself in freezing water, Wim discovered that conscious breath control can override the body's automatic panic response. He has scientifically proven that he can influence his immune system and his thermoregulation, things that medical textbooks said were impossible for a human being. Wim Hof teaches us that comfort is a prison. Ice water is his teacher, because in the ice you cannot lie. You either master your mind or the cold masters you. So, what are they doing that you can do too? Because this isn't just about watching them, it's about you getting off the couch. The first pillar is voluntary suffering. We live in the most comfortable era in human history. We have climate control, food delivery, and infinite entertainment in our pockets. We are atrophying our spirits because we never have to fight for anything. These legends introduce stress on purpose. It might be a cold shower every morning, it might be running in the rain, or it might be doing 10 more push-ups when you're sure you can't do one. By choosing the hard path in small things, you are training your brain not to panic when big difficulties arrive. You are moving that speed limiter from 40% to 50%, then to 60%, and so on. The second pillar is obsessive consistency. Look at Cameron Hanes. Cameron isn't a full-time pro athlete. He has an office job, a family, and normal responsibilities. Yet he gets up and runs a marathon almost every single day. His motto is keep hammering. He doesn't wait for motivation to strike. Motivation is cheap feeling that comes and goes. Discipline is a contract you sign with yourself that has no exit clause. Most people fail because they look for quick results. These men look for longevity. They don't train for a competition next month. They train to be the most capable version of themselves until the day they die. Let's talk about health and nutrition, because you cannot build a skyscraper with scrap materials. If you want to unlock that extra 60% of your capacity, you have to stop treating your body like a trash can. Healthy eating for these legends isn't a fad diet, it is a war strategy. Rich Roll proved that a plant-based diet can provide massive energy and slash recovery times. Others, like Cameron Hanes, focus on high-quality proteins and minimally processed foods to maintain muscle mass under extreme stress. The common thread is curious optimization. They don't blindly follow what a magazine says, they listen to their bodies. They practice intermittent fasting to sharpen their mental focus. They eliminate processed sugar because they know it causes the spikes and crashes that the central governor uses to convince you to quit. They understand that food is information. Every bite you take is telling your cells either to prepare for battle or to relax and store fat. If you want the mind of a warrior, you cannot give it the fuel of a sedentary person. But there is something deeper. You can have the best training plan and the cleanest diet, but if you don't have a why that makes you cry, you will quit. David Goggins runs so he never becomes that scared, overweight kid again. Wim Hof breathes to connect with the spirit and overcome grief. These men don't run from pain, they use it as fuel. Pain is an incredibly efficient energy source if you know how to channel it.
When you are at that 40% mark, when you feel like you can't go on, you have to remember why you started. Is it to prove someone wrong? Is it to be alive for your children? Is it because you are sick of being a mediocre version of yourself? Find that wound, rub some salt in it, and use it to take the next step. The 40% rule is not a magic trick. It is a brutal process of self-discovery. It doesn't require you to be a Navy SEAL or a professional triathlete tomorrow morning. It requires that today, in this moment, you decide not to take the easy way out. You have to understand that fatigue is an emotion, not a physical fact. The next time you feel like you're going to collapse, smile. Smile because you have just reached the border of the 40%. That is the place where most people turn around and go back to the safety of mediocrity. But not you. You are going to cross that line. You are going to find out what you are truly made of. You are going to reclaim that 60% that is yours by birthright. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the limits of human potential. If this message resonated with you, if you feel it's time to callous your mind and stop negotiating with your weakness, this is only the beginning. Your next step is simple, but it isn't easy. Do something today that makes you uncomfortable. Turn off the heat, do that extra set, go for a walk in the cold.